Undercover CEO orders coffee at his own cafe, stops when he hears 3 words from the waitress. The aroma of freshly ground coffee hit James Carter the moment he stepped into the bustling cafe on Fifth Avenue. Disguised in a worn jacket and a faded cap pulled low, the 45-year-old CEO of Carter Brews blended seamlessly with the morning crowd. For months he'd heard whispers, staff complaints, declining morale, rumors of unfair treatment at his own company's flagship location. Determined to see the truth for himself, he'd traded his tailored suits for thrift store threads, slipping into the life of an ordinary customer. As he approached the counter, his heart raced, not from fear, but from the weight of what he might uncover in the place he'd built from the ground up. The waitress behind the counter was a young woman named Mia, her tired eyes betraying a long shift. Her apron was stained with coffee splashes, and her smile seemed forced as she took his order. "Just a black coffee, please," James said, his voice roughened to mask his identity. Mia nodded, her hands moving with practiced efficiency as she poured the brew. He watched her, noting the way she glanced nervously at the clock, the slight tremble in her fingers. Something about her struck him, her quiet resilience amid the chaos of ringing orders and clattering dishes. He paid with cash, leaving a small tip, and moved to a corner table, eager to observe. As he sipped the coffee, the bitterness mirroring his growing unease, Mia approached another table. A harried mother with 2 squabbling kids sat there, their voices rising over the hum of the cafe. The mother, clearly overwhelmed, fumbled with her wallet, muttering about not having enough for an extra pastry. James expected Mia to move on, to prioritize the paying customers, but instead, she leaned down and whispered something to the kids. Then, to his surprise, she slid a small chocolate croissant onto their table, her smile genuine for the first time. The mother's eyes welled up and the children's faces lit up. James leaned forward, captivated. Then he heard it, 3 words from Mia that stopped him cold. "It's on me." Those words hit James like a thunderclap. He'd built Carter Brews on profit margins and efficiency, but here was Mia, a low-wage employee, showing more heart than he'd seen in boardroom meetings. He watched as she moved to the next table, helping an elderly man with his tray, her kindness a quiet rebellion against the corporate machine he'd created. A pang of guilt twisted in his chest. Had his focus on expansion blinded him to the people who kept his business alive? He pulled out a notebook, scribbling observations, his mind racing with questions about the culture he'd fostered. The day took an unexpected turn when the cafe manager, a stern man named Greg, stormed out from the back. James recognized him from company photos, overzealous, known for cutting corners. Greg's voice boomed as he berated Mia for the free pastry, accusing her of theft. "You're on thin ice, Mia," he snapped. "One more mistake and you're out." The cafe fell silent, customers shifting uncomfortably. Mia's face flushed, but she stood her ground. "It was just a croissant," she said softly. "Those kids needed it." Greg scoffed, threatening to dock her pay. James's blood boiled. This wasn't the company he'd envisioned, a place where compassion was punished. In that moment, a profound realization dawned on James. He'd spent years chasing numbers, trusting managers to handle the human side, but the soul of Carter Brews was slipping away. Mia's 3 words had exposed a crack in his empire, one he could no longer ignore. He stood shedding his cap, his presence commanding the room. "Greg," he said, his voice steady, "that's enough." The manager turned, his face paling as he recognized the CEO. Gasps rippled through the cafe. James stepped forward, his eyes on Mia. "I've been here all morning," he said, "and I saw what you did. You showed more of what this company should be than anyone in a suit." The emotional climax came as James addressed the stunned crowd. "I'm James Carter," he announced, "and I failed you. This cafe, my company, was meant to be a place of community, not just commerce. Mia, your kindness today saved more than those kids' breakfast. It saved my perspective." He turned to Greg, his tone firm. "You're done here. Compassion isn't a liability. It's our strength." Then, to Mia's shock, he handed her a promotion letter on the spot, assistant manager with a raise. Tears streamed down her face as the cafe erupted in applause, customers and staff alike moved by the turn of events. But James didn't stop there. Over the next week, he launched a company-wide initiative, Brewing Kindness, inspired by Mia. He visited every location, listening to employees, implementing fair wages, and training managers to prioritize people over profits. One evening, as he sat with Mia at the Fifth Avenue Café, now a beacon of change, he watched her train new staff with the same warmth she'd shown that day. "You taught me something," he said, his voice thick with gratitude. "That 3 words can rebuild what I'd broken." Mia smiled, her eyes bright. "Just doing what felt right, sir." The story concluded on a crisp October afternoon, the cafe buzzing with laughter and the scent of fresh coffee. James, no longer undercover, stood by the window, watching a diverse crowd, families, students, workers enjoying the space he'd reclaimed. Mia had become a symbol of hope, her story shared across social media, inspiring others to act with kindness. The company's profits dipped at first, but its reputation soared, drawing customers who valued its heart. James knew the journey wasn't over, but he felt lighter, unburdened by the weight of his old priorities. As the sun set over Manhattan, casting a golden glow on the cafe, James reflected on the power of those 3 words. "It's on me." They'd transformed a CEO, a company, and a community. The world wasn't perfect, but it was better because one waitress dared to care. And for every reader, the message lingered. Kindness isn't just an act, it's a revolution, one small gesture at a time, capable of rewriting the story of us all.